In this video, we're going to show how to use live pinfish up on the shallow flats, and you really need to have a bobber. This is going to keep it out of the grass, and you can actually see what's going on. So as far as rigging, another important thing is I like to rig it up there towards the head, but on the top. So that way when it's holding up underneath the bobber, it's sitting up there upright. When looking at this video, I realized the angle we had wasn't so good, so here is how it's done. So what I like to do is right in between really the eyes and the dorsal is go in right here. There's a chunk of meat, and you can go right through that. A lot of times it's good just to scrape off the scale, get that off, and then go right through that point, and you're going to be able to poke through nice and cleanly, and that's going to be a nice way to rig it. Again, that way that pinfish is going to sit upright when in the water, and it's going to look super natural. And so the other option you can do, right, there's in many cases multiple ways to do it. The other option is to go in from underneath the mouth. So from under the chin, go through both lips, go straight out the middle, right at the top, and that's going to be a good way to hook it as well. Again, I prefer the top. This top spot is a little bit better, but this works as well. That way when you're reeling it in, it's going to look natural as it goes through the water. So we'll switch back to the on the water tip. So what we're going to do is we're going to cast it out. We're going to make sure that the bobber is not letting the pinfish get down into the grass. So it's about probably 2 feet deep here. So the bobber was probably about 1.5 feet above the hook. That way that pinfish is going to be just elevated out of the grass. And we'll try to get the bobber in the background. So now the key is just to let the wind and the current just let this bait just cover ground. And so right now the wind is taking it towards the mangroves. We have some open kind of seagrass here with some potholes, and so we're going to let this little contraption just drift over it. And every once in a while, to attract attention, why we use these, it's called a popping cork, is it has a little concave on the top, and every once in a while we'll get that line tight and give it some little pops. And what that does, that mimics the sound of a trout or something feeding on the surface, and fish will come investigate, and they'll start heading towards the sound, see the pinfish, eat the pinfish. That's the goal. So we're going to let this drift out there, let it marinate, and we should be able to hook into some nice fish. All right, so I gave a little bit of time. We're going to go ahead and change spots, but what I like to do is just reel it in slowly. So when you reel it in slow, that pinfish is still swimming around fairly natural. If you reeled in super fast, the pinfish is going to be skipping up on the water, and you're definitely not going to catch anything. But when you reel slow, again, that pinfish is looking natural. In many cases, I catch fish on the reel in. But just very, very important to keep that in mind. Something I did for many, many years. I was just reeling in super fast to go and make a quick cast somewhere else. And when you do that, you miss the opportunity to catch any fish that might have been in the way. So we're going to go ahead. In between casts, you want to just keep the bait out of the water as little as possible. So I'm literally positioning myself, I'm getting the bait behind me, pinfish is still in the water, lift it up, cast it out. We really want to make sure that we always just keep our baits as lively as possible, and so we want to just keep it out of the water as little as possible. So now we're a little bit further out. During that last bit of the fishing, I lifted up the power pole, so we drifted about 30-40 feet. Now I'm fishing this next level. So we're going to let this bait do a nice little arc through this grass, and hopefully it comes across a big fish and it comes up and eats it. Just 1-8, so I got to reel down tight. There we are. So we have a circle hook on here, so you don't want to set the hook like you do with the J hook. And so when that bobber goes down, I like to keep the rod tip down and just reel as fast as you can, and then the rod will just bend over by itself, and at that point, that's when I actually pull the rod back. So we have, looks like a trout, quality sized trout, and it came up. Again, just drifting over the flats is really effective. And you'll see what'll happen is these circle hooks, even though I wasn't really manning I was letting the bobber do the work, this circle hook's gonna be right in the corner of its mouth, right where it's supposed to be. So Cody, if you can get over here, and we'll get this guy released. And you can see, look at that circle hook, it's right there on the corner. Go ahead and lift this guy up. Whoa. It's like probably 18-inch or so. Not wanting to come up to be on YouTube. So there it is. Again, right in the corner of his mouth, just like it's supposed to be. Hooks out, solid fish. and we're gonna let this guy go. This is these are protected now, and this is getting up to the side that we really want to protect. But yeah, simple as that. So just need this basic rig. If you're using live mullet or pilchards, you don't need to worry about the bobber, because those fish aren't going to dig down in the grass. But when you're using pinfish, pigfish, other type of bottom dwellers, that if you don't use the popping cork, they're just, as soon as you cast them out, they're going to dig and go straight down in the grass, and you're just not going to catch as many fish. So just wanted to highlight that tip. Again, pinfish, get a bobber, get this type. For bobber selection, important is that just this type with this little concave. I mentioned it before. I was doing some pops. I was just doing that to attract attention. And when that happens, again, I pop the line, this concave just kind of shoots a little bit of water out. It attracts attention. It sounds like a fish striking. And then a circle hook. You can go, obviously go bigger, go smaller based on the size of your bait. And that's it. Super basic. Go out here and have a ton of fun. And if you have any questions on this rig, please leave a comment down below. I'd love to help out. And if you're